Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jim here with Drink a Beer and Play a Game, and welcome to another episode of the Power Hour.
Yes, hello everybody. Welcome to episode 196. Welcome to a very sick episode because we are both little sniffle bitches right now.
Man, I guess when the Eagles are up, we go down. I don't know. Maybe we party too hard. Maybe we care too much, Jim.
Maybe we do. Maybe we all too Phillied up. Maybe that's what's going on.
Jim, would you say it's a Philly thing? Yeah, I've been telling Jim. I said I even pushed off the day we normally record because just feeling like ass, probably bronchitis or pneumonia apparently. So I'm on steroids and an inhaler, and I unfortunately will not be drinking with Jim. So I got my tea just to try to help going through what I'm going through. So unfortunately, Jim will be the only one drinking tonight.
Oh my. Well, Brian, I will be drinking. I'm all filled up tonight. I got my Eagles jersey on.
I like it.
And I'm drinking from the local Yards Brewing Company, the Philly Standard Orange. Bought a 15-pack of this for the NFC Championship game. You know what? It's delightful.
Why did they do that to their labels?
What, with the pure white?
That is the most boring goddamn label from Yards I've ever seen.
They normally do go a little harder than this. This is pretty much nothing.
Like unless they're once again doing what all of them do, they have their like stylized kind of like, I actually like their font for Yards, like how I've always liked their stuff. And I'm not saying they were complex, but that is above and beyond simple.
Yeah, it's goddamn simple. So obviously, no description, work hard, drink easy, 4.5% alcohol, ale brewed with orange. About as simple as it can be.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Eagles and beer, Jim, I did see it was kind of funny from breweries in PA. We know they're not an Eagles fan. These are Pittsburgh guys. But they did have a funny meme I saw. It's the one where it's a car like drifting into the exit to like go the other way.
Yeah.
And what the sign going forward would have been like any PA brewery's flagship IPA, and now it's like after Eagles win, a Philly themed IPA.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like, which I was like, yeah, I actually already saw kind of like ads for a few, like either it's a Philly thing IPA or like, you know, something to that effect, trying to really, really clamor on. I'm like, you fuckers. Any of yous that are not near Philly or talk shit about Philly better not be trying to sell Eagles-themed beer right now, you sons of bitches.
So for those who don't know the general PA area, the Eagles fan, the state is mostly Steelers country. Like, if you go about 30 miles outside of the city, I'd say, you basically run into Steeler Town. And which is funny because, I mean, it's an 8-hour drive across the state. So it's not like you're close to Pittsburgh. But all those little farm fuckers, they just glommed onto the winter for all those goddamn years.
I give passes. We probably have more, like, outside of the general, like, anyone in PA, the Philly area, there's a lot of South Jersey that supports Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's a lot of Jersey that supports Eagles. I don't know about Delaware. I never thought. No one cares about them.
I was going to say, does anyone care, though?
Nah, I guess not. But, yeah. So I saw that, and that just made me think of it when you're talking Eagles and beer. I was like, yeah, that's something I saw. And I'm like, yeah, watch them all of a sudden be like the hardest Eagle dick riders.
Oh, what do you call it? A former friend of mine, he was fucking, like, you know, he's from the burbs of Philly, but, you know, he was all eagled up. And then he went to college closer to the middle, and it was when the Steelers were on their run in the mid-2000s. So he comes home one day and he's in a Pittsburgh jersey. I'm like, the fuck is this? He's like, you know, man, just, you know, someone in PA to cheer for. Like, you take that off right now.
Yeah.
And then years later, when Pittsburgh's starting to suck again, the Eagles are getting good. We're like, hey, where's your Pittsburgh jersey? He's like, I never had one. We're like, yeah, sure.
So here's the deal. I actually don't have contempt for Steelers at all. Like, I don't like the Steelers because I've always been fans of like really good defenses. So I don't have a problem with it. I just have a problem with why Pittsburgh people have such a problem with Eagles and shit like that. Like, I don't get it.
Classic rivalry, dirty Inzers. So, you know, it's a steel town, Brian. They can't handle civilization. That's all it is.
Exactly. We took their sandwiches too.
Damn it. But yes, so some show news. I recently did a guest spot on the Gamer Looks at 40 podcast talking about Majora's Mask, which was like he has a cool setup for a show because he basically talks to a ton of people and then goes in different segments or like sees different themes, like similar themes, and will stitch them all together. So this guy's just like copy and pasting like different audio tracks from people and editing like a madman. Too much goddamn work. I respect it though. But no, it was fun going on there, especially like I had the perspective of a guy who played it years ago but hasn't touched it in like 15 years, but going off my memories and everything like that. But it was fun. I don't get to talk about Zelda a lot because I don't play a ton of Zelda. So there you go. It was a good show. Check him out. Bill's a good dude.
Nice.
And
sorry. A huge thank you from the boys from Reliving Retro.
Oh,
thank
yes.
you for hopping on. That was awesome. As we said, can't wait to drink with you guys. It's a great time. They've had a lot of actually, I think at least 2 episodes come out since then.
Yeah.
So make sure if you haven't already, check them out. Good dudes. Give them a subscription as well.
Yep.
But Chambers, I gotta commend you. Well, first, you know what? First, I'm gonna give you the good old compliment sandwich, Jim.
Okay.
I'm gonna start with the compliment and say you set us up for a voicemail line for our 200th episode. And for anyone that's interested, the number's below, but I'll say it right now. It's 267-991-0156. So, Jim, I'll be honest. I'm sure I've never thought about how you would set it up, but was it difficult?
Not really. It's Google Voice. I actually, talked to the Thought Cops, and I was like, what do you guys use for this? And they're like, we just use Google Voice. I was like, never even thought of that.
Have you been checking? Has anyone sent in yet?
No, not besides my test one. So, but we didn't really announce it or hoard or anything. So, yes, for the 200th episode, we want to have a ton of voicemails, hear from all you guys. So, patrons, not patrons, fans, casual fans, new to the show, whatever. Leave a voicemail. We're going to listen to all of them that you send in on that episode. It'll be an extravaganza. And maybe we'll figure out something else to do that episode too as we do that.
So, Jim, in the compliment sandwich, now there's a middle part.
There's the meat. Comes to meat in the middle.
Your stupid opinions and shitposting have landed us. I don't know anything about it, so I'm not going to say good or bad either way. Arlo, was it?
Yeah, Arlo. So, Arlo, the puppet, with his channel, he's doing fucking well for himself, 600k subscribers. He just put out there, I want to hear all your spiciest gaming opinions for a video I'm going to do. So, he had a spicy thing, and lo and behold, good old Jimmy. Have shit posting, but also my real opinion. First batter up, first fucking leadoff hitter for his video. With a little opinion. Wii U better than the GameCube.
Jim,
Split down the middle in the Discord.
Well, see, here's the deal. I don't mind if it was your opinion, but what nobody has a backstory is, and you've explained it to me, you have shit for experience with the GameCube. You're going to start getting into it, and I think you're going to quickly reverse that opinion once you realize, one, we've talked about ourselves, the fact that it had the Resident Evil 1 remake.
That's on everything now. It's on
4.
Wii U.
Yeah, but I'm saying when it came out, like the fact it had, the games it had were just so much better, and you and I have played a lot of games on there, really until this latest Smash Brothers had the best Smash Brothers forever.
It's still arguably, yeah. I can already tell you, it's Smash Melee is better than Smash Wii U. I don't like Smash Wii U.
Yeah, but I'm saying you, and this has been proven many, many times, you got kind of shystered on a price for a Wii U with some games.
Was not shystered.
You overpaid for it. You overpaid for it.
Not overpaid.
And you're just that guy. You're like, you know what? I want the niche thing that nobody likes. I'm going to collect too much for it, find good things in the bad. And so like I said, I don't disagree that probably is your opinion, but it's just unfounded. So you were more shit posting with that, be honest. It's not like a shield you'll die on. You will easily be able to be convinced in a year. You'll be like, oh yeah, no, GameCube's way better. I know you.
Can opinions change? Opinions can change, but as of right now, I've had a Wii U, a GameCube way longer than my Wii U, but...
Yeah, but what do you got, like 10 games for it?
I got like 30, 40 some games for it.
So you've only played 10 games for it.
Almost like an equal amount. No, I doubt, as far as games beaten, I've probably only beaten about 5 games on each one, so... I've had very similar experience in the overall, Brian.
Such a terrible take, Jim.
Look, Brian, look, you just do some comparisons here. It's got the better 3D Mario. It's got the better versions of all the Zeldas that were already on the GameCube. It's got its own games to it. It's got full out-of-the-box backwards compatibility with the Wii, so you have that entire library.
I mean, if you just want to use...
Games out the ass.
If you want to just use comparisons, you'd have to take it in historical context, and we've talked about this. And you know this better than anybody, because if that's the case, then Genesis is completely useless, because you can play all those games on Xbox 360. Like, there's no point in arguing, like, from that standpoint. You know the GameCube is better. Number one, which one has a handle that you can carry, Jim? Which one?
You mean the useless one that no one ever uses?
Which one?
Hey, Brian, which one has a screen that you can take the toilet with you? You don't even need to be right next to it. Which one, Brian? Which one?
Which one, Jim?
Which one? Which one can you get HD video of out of the box and not have to buy a $400 cable? Which one, Brian?
Which one sold better?
Barely, but yes, the GameCube did sell better.
Sold better.
GameCube. Wii U was marketed terribly.
Which one has controllers that are still used today, and that you could get for pretty much any Nintendo console because people prefer that control scheme?
It's not the prefer; it's just them placating to the fucking Smash nerds. But yes, because Smash nerds aside, yes, they do shoehorn the GameCube controller into everything.
Is anyone clamoring for Wii U? No, Jim.
Right.
No,
the much-loved Switch Pro controller is basically a Wii U Pro controller, just put on the Switch. So, basically the same scheme.
Jim, it's okay. You taking L's is just what you should be used to. I was just, like I said, it's just a terrible opinion.
Lead-off hitter. Bam!
Yeah. He was nice. Once again, I know nothing about Arlo. I thought he was going to roast you more. He was definitely more just kind of down the middle. So, yeah.
No, he makes good stuff, though, anyway. So,
yeah. You son of a bitch. You're just son of a bitch, Jim. That's all I got to say.
Look, Brian, you're going to be the social media guy. I got to try and get some attention sometimes. Doing my job.
But the end of that compliment sandwich, Jim, is another compliment. And I want to congratulate you on having to go through all that Shadow the Hedgehog. You're a real sport for that.
Well, at least you can admit that, Brian.
Because as we like to talk about what we've been playing, I did a run through for Shadow. I'm gonna do at least one or two more. But yeah,
Right, let me guess with your first run. You mostly just went for the Chaos Emeralds.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? Yeah, I mean, number one, I went through the very first mission, and probably the second mission without realizing
That there's other missions you can do.
Yeah, and then I realized I was like, oh okay, and I was trying to figure out there was so much. And then once I figured out that was the case, I was like, it would be a lot more convenient if you could just, and maybe you can you can go back to that individual level and select which one you want to do, right?
No.
You have to always start over that first level over and over?
You cannot go back.
Oh.
Yeah, and if you fuck up the mission you're doing, you have to just basically finish up the run or start a brand new run at that point.
Yeah. So what I didn't recognize, so the one thing you mentioned, because we're not going to cover some of this minutia in the review, but so there's definitely say for the one, you're trying to get either Sonic's shit or Eggman shit or whatever the alien thing is.
Yeah.
Is there things kill all the humans or kill all the evil robots and that's it?
It changes from level to level.
Because on a few levels I noticed it was not only kill everybody, but then there was also those random doors find the 5 keys.
Oh, the 5 keys are in every single level. You don't have to do them. That's just optional.
I was going to say, but do they hold something that's you can't progress unless you do it?
I actually have to do my 10th and final run, so I think you just open it up and get a shitload of rings and items and crap like that.
That's it, okay.
Maybe a shortcut, but yeah, I actually haven't done it for any levels yet. I'm going to do it for Westopolis, which is the first level in my final run when I record it. And so I can at least open that door up. And then I'll get my 10th ending. And then I'll get the secret ending. And then I'll never touch it again.
Jim, you can't... You gotta say, I think this is a open and shut case on replayability.
There's replayability, all right.
1 point for every ending, right?
Of course. It's an 11 out of 10 at that point.
I guess the only other thing I want to mention with Shadow is, do they recycle the same bosses, or is there 10 different ones?
Nope. No, there's 3 mini bosses that you'll come across during the course of like all your different things, but depending on your run, you might go against 1, maybe even none, maybe 2. And then for the final 10 bosses, there's like 3 different scenario bosses that like it's either Sonic and the General or Eggman or Doom, who's like the big bad guy. And then like it's a different variation of their fights.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, like I said, we'll cover the rest in the review, but I did touch that. So you know what? There's my compliment sandwich for you, Jim. So, you know, Shadow is it's a thing we played, and we'll be reviewing it. But I also decided to give myself kind of, and since I already set up my PS2, a lot of my resolution games are PS2 games. I just never finally finished. So I started Dark Watch, and just so much stupid fun. Like this system really, it reaffirmed. At first, I'm like, it's so simple, but there's enough attitude. There's a random chick in there that's voiced by Rose McGowan, who like apparently like was on like the top hottest video game characters of all time. There's just like a random sex scene in a cemetery. Like you're like, why is this here? But I love it. There's so much goofiness, but the game like is violent enough, and there's parts in it that make me think like, were more PS1 games this good of a shooter? But then looking into it, apparently it's like considered one of the best shooters on the PS2, because like not only can you aim in tight, but you can do the straight up like Call of Duty and like PUBG like lean and stuff. So shit that I never thought I've seen in the old PS2 days. Just like I said, tons of fun. I'll probably beat it in the next couple days because it's a shorter game. But yeah, I think I'm gonna like cleanse my palate with that, and then work on the next game that we've been asked to review, because I'm gonna find the thing to emulate it.
Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah, going into Kudelka, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and actually, so I decided to waste my time with the fucking Forspoken demo. That was great. That was great doing that twice. Thank you, Sony. Thank you for, in the day and age of YouTube and Twitch, for disabling the option from the system to have sound come out from headphones and the system at the same time. Wonderful. Amazing setup. So, yeah.
I never understood why they did that.
I had to do the demo twice because I didn't realize that. So, yeah. Wow, talk about a game that came and went. It was a game everyone talked about for 2 days and then no one gave a shit about anymore.
Well, everyone wanted to defend it so much because people were talking about how cringe the dialogue, which it's fine. Like, the dialogue can be cringe without, like, turning it into some bigger thing, which everyone tried to do. It's like, no, it's just shitty. Like, they're like, well, what about these other games? It's like, yeah, those other games had cringe dialogue too. No one's defending it. But, like, the amount of people I saw trying to be like, this is really a great game. And yeah, like you said, talk about something that died so fast.
Yeah, I was even going to have a Gamers Mad for it, and I was just like, no one cares anymore. So it's like not even any point in bringing it up. But it is funny, though, like, the people defending it. Like, the highest review I saw, like, someone who gave it a 9.5, they started their review with, I'm a Square Enix diehard, I buy all their games, and I haven't played any recent open world games. And I was just like, well, there you go. You haven't touched anything else, so of course you love it. But if you've touched any other open world game ever, it is as generic as can be. So if you're excited for it, have fun with it. I hope you enjoy it, but whew.
I mean, you said it is. That's the thing. That is as open world RPG. I mean, it's not really RPG, but it has elements of RPG, like powering up and shit. But yeah, like you said in the long play, like it's like Spider-Man, and it's not a bad thing, but it's just nothing that's going to make you go, this is so memorable. I mean, you probably could get that and have lots of fun.
Yeah, you probably can have fun with it. I mean, I'm not going to pay $70 for it, but yeah. I mean, if Sony eventually puts it as one of their, free games of the month, download it and give it a go. See if it gets better. Because apparently it's only like 15 hours tops, which is like perfect for me. So I at least appreciate that. More games should do that.
So you played that, and I know you've been, you still got that last run of Shadow, huh?
Got that last run of Shadow, and started going to one of my resolution games, good old Super Mario World.
Nice. What are you thinking so far?
I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the best games of all time. So,
I was waiting for another terrible opinion here, so that's why I had to ask you, Jim.
No, I mean it's fucking fantastic. So I'm having a blast playing it. I do like the level design is just, you know, the last Mario I played was the original Mario, and like,
oh yeah,
I mean it's a hell of an evolution from there. It's amazing how well the original Mario holds up, but I mean this is just it's perfection basically. So. Well,
that's one of those deals where, as good as Super Mario Bros. 3 was, it shocked me. This fucking thing is turned off. I don't know why it keeps doing that. As much as Super Mario Bros. 3 was amazing, like when I played that as a kid, and that was like one of my number one go-to games, I was like, this is so much better. Like, I couldn't put my finger on why, but yeah, it just was better. So
yep. And besides that, I've been spending a little time with Mega Man 2, thanks to another little recent random purchase that I made. That'll be a video eventually.
Oh god.
Right.
Is it at least done in the graphics of the NES?
No, I mean it's a port of the NES. It's kind of like when I did that plug and play Genesis thing.
Okay.
Excuse me. But
Jim, you can't stop wasting your money on stupid shit.
But I love it. The box has so many typos. It's so adorably cheap.
Damn it, Jim. Jim, at this point, we just need to go to the mall and get those knockoff like 501 consoles for you, and have you do that.
I mean, I could.
Just saying. It would be your brand.
It would be my brand. It's right up my alley. You know I love me some Garbo.
Oh, I know. But, yeah, once again, who requested Shadow again?
Oh, that was Drewski. That son of a bitch.
Thank you, Drewski. We love you because you are one of our patrons. We appreciate all you. And, Chambers, what do we got this week from all of our lovely patrons?
Yes, patreon.com/DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, where for as little as $2 a month, you can ask... I just saw the first question. God damn it. That you can ask a question we'll answer on each and every one of these Power Hour podcasts. So, good old TJ the Kite Man. He actually threw 2, but he hasn't thrown any in forever. So, I'll do them. I don't care. First up, who smells worst? Really?
You gotta ask that, TJ. You gotta ask that.
One of us poops more than the other. It's just bound to happen. So, another L for Jimmy. But next up, between y'all, who should take over the Magic Mike franchise? That's obviously me.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, Jim's the eye candy.
Uh-huh. I'm like Chris Farley at Chippendales. It'll be perfect.
As Jim said, he is the original Squishable.
Squishmallow, Bri. Squishmallow.
Yeah, Squishmallow. Whatever.
For those who don't know, go into join our Discord, and you'll see where that came from. Next up, from Michael Soto. Excuse me. I apologize. What is your favorite N64 kart racer? Well, you go first, bro.
I mean, for me, it's going to be Mario Kart. I don't have as much experience. I will say, as we found out, I do find that South Park one a lot of fun. Like, it's criminally underrated for everything you're into with the N64. Play with your buddies. If y'all got a crude sense of humor, you like the old South Park, you will laugh. It's like, you know, it controls actually better than it probably should for a knockoff kart racer. But I can't say that without having played it enough. So really, it's going to be Mario Kart 64.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because, like, I do like South Park, too. Like, it's kind of a mess single player with the AI, like, the difficulty spikes, but it's fun, especially with buddies, like you said. Almost all the kart races on the system are good. Like, the Mickey Mouse one, the Lego one, obviously Diddy Kong Racing. Like, they're all good. Like, Mario Kart, I talk about it all the fucking time. So, Mario Kart is my favorite, but they're, like, you really can't go wrong with any kart racer on the N64, weirdly enough.
I feel like for all the Smash clones that attempted to do it, for some reason don't get it right, I feel like kart racers generally aren't that bad. I even said that mini game in that one MK game we played was actually a lot of fun. It was like so stupidly, like to be a little like afterthought thrown in there as a side game style. Like I was like, this is pretty fun. And me and my son have been playing the Sonic.
All Stars Racing.
Yeah, and it's fine. Like I have no issues with it. So I'm like, yeah, I guess kart racers, it's really hard to fuck them up.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I'm sure there's bad ones out there that are just
Sure.
like real cheap cash-ins. I mean, you have like fucking Party with Ryan on the Switch or Garfield Kart, so
Yeah.
God only knows. But at least on the N64, you're not really going to go wrong.
Yeah.
Next up from JD Mains. Why are y'all's cheap yellows always Coors Light and Keystone? Surely you've heard about the Blue Ribbon PBR.
Well, here's the deal. PBR got played out so bad when the hipster craze really first started, and it was like, yeah, we all had it. It's shit beer like everything else. I mean, for me, the Coors is just one of those things, like, that is a nice, like, if I'm going to a party or going somewhere, that Miller Lite or Bud Light I'm going to grab one of them interchangeably. And now it's just tradition with, especially if we're with Dan from Console Wars, like, it's almost like the gimmick, like, we're going to do it. Jim, I mean, he likes his cheap shit. Like, my go-to cheaper beer now, I can't even tell you what it is. Like, if I'm having big parties, I get generic macro for people that don't like craft, and I usually get craft for shit I'm gonna drink. But PBR, I got no interest in it. It's like, I don't even think it's bad, but it's like, there's, at the same time, you could say, why not Hams? Why not, Coors Banquet? Or like, so many others. Like Yingling or Lion's Head would be something I would more go towards as my cheap beer. And a good Rolling Rock every now and again is a nice go-to.
Yeah. For that lower tier stuff, like, for one, I don't know what it is with PBR. PBR is like Sonic fast food, where both always give me bloody shits, and I don't know why. So I stay away from it.
Fuck, Jim.
What? My body is a temple, Brian.
I think I've only had Sonic once in my life. How much Sonic food are you eating, and where are you getting it from?
I mean, we're talking years ago when Sonic was still in the area, before it all went away, because everyone went, this kind of sucks. So
it does suck, yeah.
It was all hype because we didn't have it, and then we got it, and we're like, everyone tried it and all went, eh. So, yeah, after like my third time having Sonic and it happening every time, I was like, all right, I think I'm done with this. And kind of the same thing with PBR. Now, if you want to talk yellows and the cheapy boys on that same like thing, when I play gigs, like they'll be like, okay, $2 beer, or we'll give you a couple free beers, but the lower end crap. And I'll go for a Natty Boh or a Narragansett over PBR any goddamn time. Mm-hmm. So I actually like, but for cheap pounders, they are fucking good beers. For $2 at a bar, can't complain. So
yeah, Narragansett, that's an underrated one for us.
Oh yeah. So I'm like Brian. Like if I'm throwing a party, I'll get like Coors or Miller, just because they're standards, and so people aren't sitting there going, "Oh, you couldn't get anything." You got the cheap shit, huh? So yeah. But if you're throwing a party, you can't go too cheap. We're in our mid-30s. We can't pull that off anymore.
But when you're younger, you college dudes, do it up. Find the cheap shit, because you don't care about the taste of beer. Like, do what you gotta do.
But yeah, if you're looking for a different, if you don't want to be Johnny Hipster with the PBRs, go for a Narragansett. Solid beer.
Yeah. Jim's doing the me. Got to do the mute.
The mute.
Like
and the
we
cough.
said, this is the sick cast today.
This is going to be the dead air cast as we because Brian's not going to go through and add out all these. So
no, they got to see it's reality, Jim.
All right, next up from Bird Retinas. Ugh, God. There's enemies that people hate fighting in video games, but are there any, be it boss battles or just standard bad guys, that you enjoy fighting?
I really like this question. I'm just a fan of the atypical, like, the lowest level kind of beat up guy. To just, because there's something so satisfying about, like, when you do level up your character and those guys that like gave you a problem and coming back and like, whether it be a gun, you blast waves of them away, or a sword chopping them in half. Like, I want the ragdolls. That's what I like. The ragdoll enemies that like just take so much punishment, because there's something always so satisfying. Don't get me wrong, beating a really tough boss feels good, but just mowing through and feeling powerful, which is really what we all want to do in a video game, there's nothing better than that. So yeah, I like just the easy ragdolled, low-level characters to just fuck up.
I'll go with a very specific one. So obviously my stupid Streets of Rage love, but the guys in the jackets. So the ones who have the mohawks knives with the jackets, and they're tougher than like the 2 or 3 lowest tier guys, but they're still in like the mid-low tier for like the difficulty of like common enemies. But if you don't, if you're not paying attention, they can slide and hurt you. They can grab you and throw you. So they're still a little bit dangerous while also being, still not the worst thing in the world to fight. So like a good level like that. Because I do it like the bottom tier guys are fun, but some games can just go ridiculous and make them fucking sponges, and that's when it's not fun. So gotta strike a balance too.
Yeah. Nice.
And last up from JD Mains. Wait. Oh, question for next week. All right, we'll wait for next week then.
I mean, if you want, just read it now.
All right, yeah, fucking, who gives a shit? Why the hell is Jim Coke changing the Boston Lager recipe? That beer was my craft gateway beer. It's the perfect lager, in my humble opinion. Or in my honest opinion, whatever it is. I made you.
I did not know he was changing it, and if he is, that's really goddamn silly. I agree. Like, Sam Adams is, for most people, that kind of gateway between legit craft, macro, and that's another absolutely great beer. Like, every time I have it, I always go, man, this is just a really solid beer. Like, I put it a tier above Yingling. Like, love me my Yingling, but a Sam Adams is just, to me, better.
Yeah.
If he's changing it, here's the deal. With brewers, I've heard lots of things. Now, on one hand, it'll sometimes seem like a change, but they'll do shit as simple as, like, their water is being filtered a little differently, and it's going to give it a different taste. So if it's something like maybe it has a different taste because of that, then that's almost like there may not be much he can do. But if he's actually changing an ingredient or a step in the process, that's goofy as shit. Unless he magically makes it better, which I very rarely see happen, then yeah, I think that's a terrible idea. Maybe they're doing it for cheap reasons.
You're doing a new Coke, and then you're going to go back in 6 months? All
that's
marketing,
the problem.
Marketing ploy.
I mean, that's the thing. Is like, I have heard from brewers that like sometimes you're priced out of something. Now, that's why I'm kind of like, it's Sam Adams. It's like arguably, I don't even know if they still consider themselves a microbrewery or whatever, like a craft brewer, but they're as big as it can get. So it's like, I doubt they're being priced out of ingredients, but that could be a reason. Maybe.
Possibly. So, either that or publicity stunt. But yeah, that's the first time I heard of it. So, good pickup on that one. I'm
going to go out and buy a case of that shit and then keep it as like, keep it like Jim keeps his games. I'll be like, I got the original, that 2023 stuff.
Everyone, it's going to go up in value and they're all going to clamor for it.
Yeah. And then, yeah, they do what Jim does. Everyone buys it, overpays for it, and they're like, no, we're bringing it back.
And they go, no.
That's a good question, though. I'm going to look into it. I didn't know that, JD.
Yeah. And that wraps up the questions for this week. So once again, thank you to all of our patrons for the support. Thank you for everyone who's given us all these video game reviews. Even you, Drewski, son of a bitch. If you're new to the podcast, please make sure to check us out on iTunes and Spotify. Leave a 5-star review. We will read any 5-star review that you leave us. And of course, I'm going to keep pouring this. The voicemail line. Throw us some voicemails. 267-991-0156.
It doesn't have to be if you just want to tell us something, it can be a question. Like, it doesn't matter. Hop on there. Say your piece.
You want to shit talk me? Go ahead. I don't care.
Thank you, guys. We really appreciate it. All right, Chambers. So we are back. And I guess first, how's that Yards treating you?
Dude, it's fucking delicious. You know what's actually funny? I guess there's so much, like, citrus and orange in it. That, like, because I'm, sick and blowing my nose all the time, my lips is dry, and the citrus is getting in those little nooks and crannies, and I'm just like, ow, ouchie.
The burn is so good. Are you kind of sadistic like a lot of us out there, where it does hurt, but sometimes like getting like salt and vinegar chips or things when a little bit of burn on things like that, you kind of like.
Sometimes it's not too bad. Nice.
Yeah.
Puts a little twitch downstairs every once in a while.
Have you ever had poison ivy?
No, I actually never have.
You lucky bastard. Never any type of ivy, whatever?
Any ivy poisoning? No. Right, I wasn't allowed out a lot as a kid, so there wasn't a lot of exploring going on.
And you mean you're not out there doing a whole bunch of landscaping by yourself?
Oh, you know me, old Jimmy housekeeper over here.
I will say...
Old Jimmy Green Thumb, that's what they call me.
I wouldn't wish the annoyingness that is the itch on anyone. However, there is something about when you're really itchy. It's, you know, the old, like, what's the word? Stereotype, like, with women that, like, they take scalding hot showers.
Yes.
Like, my wife is one of those.
That is true.
Yeah. Like, where she'll be like, it's not even that hot. I'm like, it's so hot. But when I have that, I literally will turn no cold on. And if, like where it was on my arm before, I let that water hit it, it literally made my whole body tingle. And, like, I know it sounds absolutely crazy. I looked it up, and people are like, oh, my God. Like, yeah, like, this is really a thing. Like, it's a whole big thing that we're scalding hot water on that. It feels crazy. That's the only way I'm going to describe it. So,
no shit.
Yeah. So, Jim, I'll rub some Ivy on you when you're not looking, and then
no.
you can experience it. Listen, I'm just trying to help you see the world.
Perfect virgin skin, bro. No, I'm too sensitive.
But Chambers, one of our staples for drinking for many, many years.
Too many years.
Good old Fireball whiskey. It's, I guess, saw the biggest surgence in popularity, I'd say, from 2010 to 2015, maybe?
Easily, yeah.
Like, so in that period, like, you couldn't go anywhere. That was everyone's pregame, going out, taking shots.
Many bachelor parties.
So,
buying handles of that garbage.
Yeah, not one handle, just handles. Delicious shit. Like, we're over just because of how much we did it, but I'm not one of those people
I can't touch it anymore. I've thrown it up too many times. I cannot touch it. I can't stomach it. You've
thrown up so many things, but yeah, that I'm sure has been way too much. But anyone who's ever been to a liquor store, definitely at least in PA, I've seen the little bottles everywhere, and they even sell them in, like, tubs or, like, 100 mini bottles or whatever, like, in candy canes. But apparently
at supermarkets.
Yeah, now Fireball is being sued because, unbeknownst to me, they don't only have the mini bottles of the Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey, they have Fireball Cinnamon, which is not whiskey, and it's actually malt. I didn't know there was a thing. Like, seeing it now.
I had no idea.
Yeah. And the biggest difference is it's almost half the percentage
alcohol
as the whiskey. Now, a few things they do, and Jim and I have talked a lot about labeling and like the bullshit with, like, Keystone and Stone. Yes, the Stone and Keystone is a little large, but no idiot's going to make that mistake. This is a blatant, like, it's some shady shit.
Yeah, this is really shady. So I'm sure Brian will be putting pictures up on the podcast.
I'll put the two side by side. It's literally, yes, they're like, and Fireball's like, well, I think our customers are smart enough to see that it doesn't say Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey, but then right underneath it says with natural whiskey flavors, like a malt beverage. And it's like, no one's picking up those little ass bottles and reading the fine print. You see Fireball, and you don't think past the word Fireball. Oh, it's the same color, it's the same cap. Like,
you see Fireball, you see Cinnamon. It's the exact same label, except for one word. One word. That's the difference.
If anything, the only way I'd give them a pass here is if maybe invert the colors. Make the little red guy yellow, make the outside red, like differentiate it, or even give the cap a different color. Like, make it green or yellow, or like something that goes, oh, there's something different. Otherwise, no, not taking it. So they're getting sued. Now, here's the deal, though. And I was reading into it. Who's really going to sign up for this class action lawsuit? Are you that much of a goddamn alcoholic? Like, I wanted to get drunker, and goddamn it, I've been buying these things, and this, like, come on, man.
Right.
Come on.
Counter argument.
Go on.
Say they settle. Wouldn't you regret not getting your free 75 cents?
That's what I was going to say. Everyone? Like, what do you really think you're going to gain from this?
I want my $2. That is on the mobile app. That is an iced coffee at Dunkin' Donuts with the special offer when you order ahead on Dunkin'.
Like, to me, class action lawsuits should be reserved for something that gave you harm.
Right, this is harm.
Like, this is some real, and it's filed by Anna Marquez, who I don't know who that is. But Anna, slow it down. If you've been buying so much and it's duped you and you didn't get your fix, come on. I like that it's being called out, but it doesn't need to be in the action of a class action suit. So, I don't know. I think this is going to be one where they'll probably have to, I don't like I said, what the fuck are they going to actually pay?
I wonder if it depends too, like where they do the lawsuit in, like what state. Because, like, God forbid you get in front of, like, a grand jury that's all, like, Puritans and shit like that, and they're just like, Mandy, you're such a drunk anyway that you're wasting their time. It could go south. It seems like an open and shut case. Could go south. You never know.
It could. Just like with the other thing, though, I really kind of want to now get the two and compare for flavor.
Yeah, we should do that.
You know what, Jim? Next time we get together, not only are we going to do the Corona challenge, but we're going to do the Fireball challenge now.
All right. We're going to see if there's a difference.
Ooh, do we save it all for the 200th while we're listening to stuff?
I have a feeling the 200th is going to be a day we have to take off work.
It's going to be sloppy.
Day.
I don't think that's going to be a Monday record.
Yeah, we're going to have to do that on a weekend, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, anyone out there, if you've been duped or if you really love your Fireball, read the labels because you might have been getting the malt by accident wondering why you're not as drunk.
Yep, so definitely make sure you're just wasting calories at that point. So make sure it says cinnamon whiskey, not just cinnamon.
Damn it, Jim. Now, in an act that is truly damaging and kind of heartbreaking, this is from WZZM13.com, but there's stories you can find all over. Really, really sad here. Basically, Dirtbag Brewing Company, which was expected to open up this year, cannot as of right now because 3 13-year-olds caused $200,000 in property damage. And if you're like me...
Over a couple days, too.
They were there for 3 days uninterrupted. And when I first heard that figure, I went, that sounds crazy. You start reading the story. First, there was about 90 windows busted out. Then overhead doors were messed up. Then they poured sand into vehicles' gas lines. Then they went further and fucked up the vehicles even more. And I'm like, dude, okay, I was not an angel as a 13-year-old. I was not an angel as a kid. Definitely did very, very, I'll call it low level, like egging houses, some property damage. But to go this far, you're like, what the fuck? I don't know, Jim. Did you read far into this? Because I did read some other stuff, but I don't want to keep rambling.
Yeah, what do you call it? So, I mean, you just must be fucking bored off your tit in Gobles, Michigan. That must be in the middle of fucking nowhere to, like, do this much. So, apparently the guy had 2 cameras in the brewery, in the building. He's been working for 7 years to open it. And apparently the first thing they did was they went for the cameras. So, he had no idea that this was going on the whole time. And even worse for this poor guy, you might be thinking, well, insurance will cover it. Yeah. Because apparently it's been broken into already because of its location multiple times. Yeah, at least twice. So it's uninsurable. So part of me's going, obviously he probably got a good deal. It's probably cheap. That's probably why he's still put it there. So there's a risk taken, unfortunately. But yeah, apparently it's been hit a lot. Jesus Christ.
mean, yeah, my first thought was, I'll be honest. Before I dove into it, there was a cynical part of me. Like, why wouldn't you have it insured? Why would you open it in such a shitty area? Like, all these thoughts. But then you read it, like this guy, Ryan Long. So he did this as a side project with some friends. He was a contractor. He put
dumping his retirement and life savings into it.
Retirement, life savings. Basically, everything he had. Like, he basically said, he's like, I wanted a place for our friends, a community, like be able to get together. We don't have a lot of things in it. Like, it's Gobles Missing. I've never even heard of it. And the good news is there was a GoFundMe, which as of right now, their goal is the 200K. They're already over 100K at this moment.
Yeah, 100,305 right now.
Yeah, which is really awesome because they just started it about 8 days ago. So that's, like you said, I love seeing shit like that. Plus, from reading their Facebook page, like there's a lot of fundraisers. The dude, it's heartbreaking though. You see the story, you can tell he's just like, he's at a loss. He's like, I don't even know if I want to try and open it. Like, I don't know. Like, it's one of those, man, if you got your hands on those little shits who did that, you're like, and then apparently, like, the news reporter was asking, they're like, well, they are children, but, like, had they ever had problems with the law? It's like, yeah, the one's already been kicked out of, like, 2 schools, already been in and out of juvie. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, just, what the fuck?
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, it's heartbreaking. It's a terrible thing to hear about for any brewer or anyone who gives a shit about craft beer. So, there's a GoFundMe, like Brian said, on the article itself. We'll have it in the description of whatever platform that you're listening to this on. So, if you have a few bucks to throw away, who knows? Maybe throw a few bucks this guy's way. Just because, it's a terrible thing that happened. I threw some money this guy's way. So.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same. I saw, it's like, fuck, man. That just sucks. So hopefully it turns out. But yeah, I'm gonna throw a few dollars that way because that's sad.
Yep. So it's something you never want to see. So hopefully, yeah. I mean, it's the first one of these to this extent that I've definitely seen. So I mean, who knows how many times this has happened over the country and shit like that.
Yeah. Kids, fuck's sake, just go somewhere else to do your vandalism.
Just do drugs. Don't break other people's shit.
It.
Just break yourself. Just do some drugs.
Just play video games. God.
Do drugs and then play video games. We're role models.
I mean, Jim, soon they may or may not be able to play the PlayStation VR 2.
Well, in theory. But so apparently the Sony VR 2. Bri, how much hype and promotion have you actually seen for this thing outside of the article we talked about before?
Nada.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I haven't seen jack shit on this. And apparently since November, they've had like an invite-only pre-order window for it.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently based off that, they're going, yeah, we're probably going to sell about half of what we're expecting.
So they were initially planning to sell 2 million units. In the first quarter, which is April of this year until March of the following year. And now they're saying maybe only 1 million, maybe 1.5. Basically, to Jim's point, now they're not confirming this, but the speculation is because the pre-order numbers are low. And what I find most interesting is I looked up the original PlayStation VR. In total, that sold 5 million units, but that was over like 6 years.
And that's, as an add-on for a console that sold, what, like 100 million units? Something like that? So,
that's what I mean. So
the PS4 is a monster.
It's the sales aren't good. Like, here's the deal. It's a very expensive ask, and then on top of that, you're not making any of the previous games available for it. Like, you got to now get new games just for, like... If they somehow, and I'm not saying it's easy to do it, but if they had made it somewhat backwards compatible, maybe it would be selling better. I don't know, but that's like, hey, already pay $500 to $600 for our new console, and hey, now dump. I think it's $550. Dump. Basically, you got to go in over $1,000 to really do this. So, yeah, I don't think that's very attractive for a lot of people.
So this report came from Bloomberg, which Sony, in an update, is basically refuting it, saying, we're not cutting the numbers, they're seeing enthusiasm, which I don't know where they are. Yeah. And, Brian, can we just pour one out for poor goddamn Horizon, just that franchise? Because that franchise cannot catch a break. First game comes out a week before Breath of the Wild. Second game comes out a week before Elden Ring. Both times, kind of liked, but almost completely forgotten, and no one talks about it. And then one of the marquee games is going to be Horizon Call of the Mountain for a system that's already having disappointing numbers and that no one really cares about. Oh my god!
And excuse me, just like Forspoken, Jim. I mean, here's the deal. Now I've played Horizon. That's one of my lists I want to finish off. Just from what I saw you play, it's better than Forspoken. But it's that same deal. It's an open world, beautiful, really cool concept, robotic dinosaurs, and you're dealing with them with kind of high-tech bows and arrows and other kind of cool traps. Really cool looking. But like, yeah, people are kind of like, meh. Like, of the action big games, there's so many more out there now. So it's like, it doesn't stand out the way they probably wanted it to. And yeah, to your point, like, dude, whoever's doing their releases, do some fucking research. Whoever this year is releasing a game, don't do it anywhere around the time of the new Legend of Zelda game. If you do that, you are just asking for terrible sales.
You know when the date is. Don't do it.
Don't, even if you were already planned it. You know what? We expect most AAA companies to push dates. Push it. You're like, oh, fuck, it's this date? All right. 2 months later, do something. But yeah, and here's the deal. I've never played the Sony VR shit. The only VR experience was when I was at your house. I would really like this. I'm not going to pay this price. I'm going to wait for it to come down. But I would like a cool VR set just because it is a fun way to play games.
Yeah, there's been a lot of rumors basically that the only reason Sony's still really doing it is to keep a foothold in the market in case VR really takes off. Because VR has always been niche, and like the most popular one's probably like the Oculus Quest. Mm-hmm. That's like the most approachable one. It's the cheapest one for like good tech and shit like that. And Apple doesn't give out official sales numbers for it.
Yeah.
So you have to find like third-party sites like aggregators that are like, yeah, we think it's sold about 10 million units total. Which, I mean, for the reach fucking Facebook has, that's not that great.
Yeah.
And then that's for a $300, $400 headset. So this is going to be $550 minimum, $600 if you do the Horizon package. But you're buying a $600 headset with a game on top of the $500 system that's still not that easy to find. It's easier to find now, but it's still not super easy to find, and it's expensive.
Yeah, I mean that's the deal. Is I definitely,
Brian, are you going to spend $1,100 to play a Horizon knockoff and Gran Turismo 7? Like, they don't have games that people want either. You need something that's going to draw people in.
Yeah, like, and of the titles, like I said, don't get me wrong. There's some titles in there. It's cool, and I bet they are fun. But not fun enough where, like, they really need that game that makes you go, I feel like I'm missing out. I bought a GameCube because they had Resident Evil 1 Remake. I felt I was missing out on some shit. Dreamcast. At the time, it was Resident Evil Code Veronica. After we were so hyped up on Resident Evil 2 and 3, and then you're like, fuck, like, I can't even play this game. Like, so you got to give something really exclusive that makes people go, I need to get this. And they can't. Because, like you said, they're not going to commit. They're just doing it because, yeah, I do believe the future there will be VR in one sense or another. It just got to get to that nice price point. Like, just like for how long we thought the real future was going to be with the PSI, the Kinect, and all these motion things. Like, that's going to be the way. And, you know, the Wii was like only successful because it was just so much more compatible. And these other things, they were cool, and there were some games that were fun, but it's like it didn't take off. It didn't have the approach they wanted. But VR is like kind of always been the thing since arcades. And one day it will be at a price point where it makes sense. But, you know, I don't know. I just, bad call, PlayStation, bad call.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, like we said, if they're doing it just to stay in the market and they're almost considering it a loss leader for that purpose, it's like, it's whatever. Because it's not like the PS5 won't be selling anyway. So.
No, PS5 will still outsell everything. Like, it's, I don't know the numbers right now, but I'm sure it's in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I'm sure, beating the Xbox.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and then the Switch is always going to be in that weird in-between stage. So, whatever the fuck they do with that.
Yeah, I mean, Switch, you'd have to compare PS4 and PS5 together.
Kind of. It's weird.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, let's see how it sells, because it's going to come out this year anyway. So, we'll keep track, see what the numbers actually look like.
Yep. Yeah, we'll follow up on that if we ever hear anything more about it. But, Bri, speaking of low numbers, Bri, you need some low numbers if you're going to fully enjoy your experience at the Super Mario World at Universal. Speaking of following up stories.
Yeah. So, well, not only was I happy you put this here, but I just randomly, saw a video and Monica tagged me in it. The more I've seen footage of it, I really want to go to Super Nintendo World.
It does look
really
cool.
Looks very cool. And like, excuse me, as you play through Super Mario World, not that you don't already know, but like, it just, I don't know. I love what I'm seeing. But apparently, and this is coming to us from Kotaku, a few of the rides can only be ridden by quote unquote thin people. And by thin, they just mean anyone with a waistline under 40 inches.
Yep. Right. So they're going to have a test, like a lot of rides, like any roller coaster, they're going to have a test seat there. And basically, if you are a size 40 or over, you probably can't ride the Mario Kart portion of the experience, which is the only actual ride of the whole Super Mario World thing. So, and actually, their in the article, not a justification from them, but in the article, they're going, that's like the average size of a man's waist at this point. And I was like, God, I hope not, because I'm a size 40, and I'm a fatty fat's a fat. Well, like, I know this country's fucked, but if that's actually true, we are fucked as a country.
Then you know what? It's like,
or a size 20 for women or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw this and I kind of laughed because I'm like, good. Like a ride, there's price points. There's this and that. The shit's already built. At this point, they're doing that because they probably are trying to be nicer about not giving, and it's about the fit in the seat. But instead of just putting a weight limit on these things, they're saying, here's, it's only so small. You're on these tracks. And if you look at the ride, it is interesting. Like it looks like a little bit of a tighter track. I'm a size 36, 38, but here's the deal. Like I bet like when I get in there, I would be kind of like with my shoulders kind of pushed in. But yeah, man, like the amount of bitching I saw people doing, and I was like looking at like a lot of people, they're like, that's just ridiculous. Like, man, how do I say this without sounding bad?
Brian, you just say it. Just tell the fatties to lose some weight.
Being a size 40 is nothing to be celebrated. There's big and tall.
I'm a size 40. I am not happy about it.
Yeah.
When I lost all my weight, I got down to a 38 and like 38, 36 teetering. And like I'm back up to a 40 and I fucking hate myself for it. So like fucking, it's not a thing to be proud of. Like, you know what? Here, fucking line in the sand. Fat acceptance is fucking stupid. Like, don't be mean to people, but don't go around thinking you're being healthy or you can be healthy being overweight. If you need a reason to fucking go to lose some goddamn weight and you love fucking Mario, lose some goddamn weight and fucking go to get on the Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a good lifestyle. Like, don't expect it to be everyone should just be nicer, which, yes, they should, but you know what? Fix yourself. I should fix myself.
And I also don't like the way that a lot of people have framed this, that Nintendo is not allowing people with 40 inches. It's like, no. The seat's already designed. If you want to try to sardine your ass in there, you're just going to be you obviously have to have the safety bars.
Yeah, if the locking mechanism doesn't get in there, then guess what? They're not going to let you on because it's not safe.
And that's the thing, is like, dude, like, can we also accept the fact nerds like you and I love it? At the end of the day, this is meant for fucking kids. Can we remember this is meant for kids? Yes, we were kids who grew up and love it. And obviously, probably gaming takes just as much for 18 to 40-year-olds as it does the kids. But at the end of the day, it's a kids' amusement park. You want to go down there, eating your chili dogs and get on there, you might not fit. So don't do it. But at least, the only thing I would say is, without diving into the park and all this, I hope on the park's like website and shit, if you're booking your trip and you're planning on going it, that they have it very clear.
Yeah.
Like, hey, just a heads up, if you are coming down here, if you're looking for this ride, just like they have on like elevators and everything, like put a weight requirement, put a waistline requirement, like whatever it is, so you don't get there. Because if it's not apparent and you got there, that would kind of suck. I will admit that. Like, if you just showed up unaware and they didn't give notice, that would suck.
Right. Here's one for you, and for everyone listening out there, like, I'm being mean to the fats because I am one and because I care. There is no worse feeling in the world than the bar not going over and you getting up and doing the walk of shame.
Oh,
There's no worse feeling in the world.
Jim, that's happened?
That's happened to me once. I forget what ride it was, but
I was
it
going
happened
to say,
to me once.
because you are, I feel like you've gone to a lot of theme parks. So
No, I have,
How
but-
did that happen?
I have, but when I was at my fattest, when I was in like the 280s, like there was a ride that I tried to get on, and noopsie whoopsie, and had to do the walk of shame. It's crushing.
Oh, that's
Don't
heartbreaking.
let it happen to yourself. Fucking, if you want to go to Super Mario World, don't complain about it fucking not fitting you. Just lose the goddamn weight so you can do it. Just
Now-
better yourself.
Now, let me ask you this. Okay.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Well, here's the deal. So I think to avoid that, because that is heartbreaking to hear. But, so do you think when you're booking your tickets or if you're looking for a ride, should it just be made very apparent? Just like a lot of roller coasters, especially hangy ones, say you can't be so tall because you might get goddamn decapitated. Or your limbs might hit. I do think there should be things on rides, just a basic, can't be over 400 pounds. You can't have a waist. There should be things that it just says so you don't ever end up in that situation. Because, yeah, that's a shitty thing to have to do.
It's bad enough when you have to sit in a special fat boy seat and you have to get up and specifically go to the fat boy seats that they make specially. It's nice you still get the ride, but you're going, I'm making the walk of shame to the fat boy seat. It's still better than doing the walk of shame that you can't take the fucking ride. So, people, please, if you plan on ever going to this fucking place, lose 20 pounds.
God
Lose
damn
20
it,
pounds.
Jim.
Do yourself a favor.
The special fat boy seat. I've never heard that.
No, you've never been on, or you've probably never had to even realize it. But yeah, some rides will have special oversized seats for larger people.
I mean, you go to places like that way more than me. So
Yeah,
as a kid, I went everywhere: Six Flags, Dorney Park, all those type of places. But that's real. Damn it, Jim. I don't mean to laugh, but that.
no, it is a thing to not be happy about. It is a thing to hate myself for having that happen.
You don't have to hate yourself. I'm just saying it's one of those where what I don't want to see is now they're going to try to impart you need to make this accessible for everyone. It's do you?
And I mean, if it's a Mario thing, I don't know who designed this entire place. I mean, part of me thinks of Nintendo's having some oversight. Japanese people are smarter than Americans, just in general.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly a shock that, there's a size limit on these things.
Yeah,
But,
man.
it's a narrow track like the article says. One thing I do love in the article is they quote fucking RoccoW because he put food influencer as a goof in his Twitter bio, and they credit him as if he's from Mega 64. He's a guy who does prank videos. He's a goof guy.
I don't know who he is.
Remember when we talked about when everyone got mad about the YouTube channel that bought a PS5 when they were impossible when it first came out, and they put mayonnaise inside it, and Twitter blew up mad. He's
those
from that group.
assholes.
Yeah.
I don't like him. Sounds like he should work for the company we're about to talk about.
Oh yeah. So we had
Jim.
to talk about it eventually, because everyone in the goddamn world is basically talking about them right now.
It's so annoying.
And it's
so annoying.
It is annoying, but it's also kind of funny that it's taken this long because they have been around forever, and we're talking about DKOldies. And yeah, I'm sure a lot of people roll their eyes already because they already know what's coming. But for those of you out there who don't know, DKOldies is a huge online retro game shop. They're actually out of Middle Eastern, Jesus.
Middle Eastern.
Middle Eastern Pennsylvania. Middle into the east. But
Damn it.
yeah, so they're out of Middle Eastern Pennsylvania, and they're a wholesaler basically of just fucking retro video games, and they sell new shit too. But if you go to their website, their bread and butter is selling bundles, and their bread and butter with these bundles is upcharging the ever living shit out of them. They have always been super expensive, and their most popular things are Wii bundles with 2 games and a couple Wiimotes in a system for $200-$300. Insanity. And we've put links below to a couple videos from Real Tech USA, and so he bought 2 systems where he bought an NES that was supposed to be refurbed that it was kind of correctly refurbed, but it came with a non-OEM power cord, which is bad because if you don't have the right voltage going through, that can really destroy and mess up not only the console, but the video quality that you're going to be getting. It also had different... my favorite part of it was it had different screws, and they didn't use all the screws because they used longer screws, like more standard, like basically Phillips heads, instead of like the proprietary heads that Nintendo would have at the time. And I guess it's so they could like easily use like a drill gun and like get them out quicker, fix them up faster. But if you put in more screws, it was actually too tight, and you couldn't even push down the games in the latching mechanism. Shit like that. And like it was a little cracked and a little bit discolored. Like if you're spending $300 on an NES, you expect it to be like minty fresh. And this is not it. And then he also went and bought a PS2 that like basically did not work. So, old Richie boy, I've had my problems with him in the past, but he got done dirty. Now, of course, he's a professional YouTuber, so these are just write-offs for him anyway. So, whatever. But you know, it's showing how bad the company is. And then RGT85 actually had an interesting one where he was like, yeah, I've never bought from them, but they're decent to sell in bulk to because they'll give you good prices. So if you know you're not going to get eBay prices by individually doing stuff, but you want a decent price for a bundle, might not be a bad way to go. And then Voltar had a tweet basically how DKOldies really became big in the past couple of years. I should preface this too. In like the last year or two, they really blew up. It's because of TikTok. So they went from like, you know, they've been around forever, but their TikTok is huge. And their YouTube, because of this, has grown to like 800,000 subscribers or something like that. Like their socials have absolutely exploded. And funny enough, like I kind of know a guy through like a podcast Facebook group who works there, and he was talking about how like Little Yachty spent like $5,000 on like a PS2 bundle or something like that. So like they get big names who just go to them because that's like the name that's out there now, thanks to social media.
Yeah.
So yeah, but apparently from Voltar's tweet, one of their TikToks or tweets or videos was them like destroying what they were calling counterfeit GBAs, which actually turned out to just be extremely rare and expensive GBA SPs that they were fucking like being all proud that they were destroying and helping the game market and crap. So it's a thing where it's like WADA when they get duped with repros, where it's like they don't really know what they're doing, or they're not putting the time in there or the quality control either. So
okay, here's my thing. What I look at this at is playing devil's advocate. I've seen the videos. Not only did I see those two, and number one, man, this is gonna sound weird. I don't expect you to get a system and be like, it's perfect. Like all the things that happen to Rich, like, yeah, that shouldn't be. But the annoying, like, I'm gonna clean the system now and see, and it's like he's making it out like they were like, oh my god, filthy dirty. And the number of YouTubers that do that's like, calm your tits. This is a family run. Yes, they're big, but at the end of the day, it's a staff of like 8 people, it looks like. And their warehouse, if you want to call it that, or storage, they got a lot of shit. And here's the deal. I think they're just too big for how much bulk they do, and they probably are just trying to do whatever they can to keep up with the demand, to keep growing. And yeah, they cut corners. They don't do it right. I'm not saying any of this is okay. But what I am saying is like, how many people probably went out of their way to buy something now just to try to shit on this company?
Oh, YouTubers. If you see a YouTuber video, it's 100% just for the content.
That's what I mean. So that's where I'm like, you know, a normal transaction would have been, Rich got that, send it back, say, hey, here's my issues. And maybe they would be cool with just doing it. I'm not saying it's okay that they send anything out that's fucked up. And yeah, you should warn people. But like you said, number one, they're expensive as shit. Like, and how many videos do I have to see from YouTubers price comparing them to everyone else? And the same shocked face. They want what for a Wii U and an N64? Like, come on,
and they're preaching to the choir, because anyone who like knows about DKOld, here's the thing. Anyone who they're making videos for, it's just for people who already probably...
Everyone already knows.
They probably went to DKOldies at one point and went, oh, no, I'm not paying that. Like, even before, like, they got big. Like, we're talking years ago. They've always been upchargers. So, like, DKOldies is a spot that's, like, popular now, so now they're going to probably making bank, like you said.
That's what I mean.
For people just rediscovering their childhood and thinking, oh, shit, they have an NES. And I can get a couple games with it. And, like, $300, I guess that sounds right, because they don't know any better.
And here's the deal. You know what? I hate to say it, but that's what this is for. This is for not for the hardcore retro person. This is for the more casual who... okay, I can just get a bundle, like 300. Sure. Get a piece of my childhood. And yeah, they're not going to know no better whether they have the right plugs and this and that. But once again, the only reason I would really shit on them is if you get a situation like that, you try to send it back and you can't. Or they're not willing to refund you or replace it. Then I have a really big problem with that. Not excusing that they ever send anything out in a bad condition or like with the issues like I said. But that being said, enough with the like I'm going to purposely buy from a company looking for the negative and then put it on blast just to do it. Like, cause now it's like those corny ass people that's like, I went to the worst restaurant ever and guess what? It was bad. It's like, yeah, of fucking course it was.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of disingenuous shit. So.
That's my problem. The disingenuousness of it all. I will say, like I said, I saw the prices. I was like, God damn, they're expensive. But I will also say, I was kind of looking at them like, oh, they got some games on here I might actually want. And then it just...
Oh, dude, their inventory is insane. Like,
that's what's impressive.
They have a ton of super rare shit, too. Like, they have a lot of cool crap.
And I'm kind of like, okay, excuse me. Like, at a minimum, what it did is it opened up my eyes to like, oh, what games do they have? And then I did my own research and like, I actually ended up buying Deadpool for the Xbox One because they happened to have it on here. I didn't get it all of them. I went on eBay, but like, it was a nice thing to just be like, okay, let's price compare. And in some instances, their price was pretty much on par with eBay or price charting or whatever. In some cases, they actually must have overstock on them because they were a little bit lower. But it's one of those deals where it's like, if anyone out there is listening, do your research from wherever you buy from. But like, now that this is blowing up as being a company that might sell you shit, don't just go out of your way to like, especially say you got a console and everything works fine, but don't like do the corny ass alcohol wipe and be like, see, look, there's smudges. It's like, do that to your forehead first. I bet it's much worse. Like, enough with this shit. That's all I'm gonna say. Tell me I'm wrong, Jim.
Nah, I mean, I see like another DKOldies video. I'm just like, I don't care.
I don't care.
Like, yeah. I mean, even in general, I was just like, when this all started blowing up in the last couple weeks, I was like, everyone's, they're, oh, hey, welcome to the party. But
I didn't realize that they were buy something.
No, they are way too expensive even for a bit like that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's one of those, you know what, though? Like, these people making the videos, but like you said, they are blowing up on TikTok, on YouTube. They ain't going nowhere.
Right. As I've learned from Forspoken, me trying to hop on a trend does not work out. So that would not be worth my time or my money.
Jim. But yeah, no, like I said, it's one of those... I am glad that people made it, just so people are aware of what to look out for. Hopefully they get their shit together. What I was more curious about is I tried looking everywhere. They don't seem to be responding to it in any matter. Maybe they're emailing or DMing on private. And can I also say that's another thing? If
Limited Run still doesn't even allow responses. They at least allow comments on their tweets and shit.
That's just a straight up shitty company altogether. We know that. But DKOldies, here's my thing. I hope they have reached out to Rich and, like any of these YouTubers. And I hope they are able to settle it. Be like, hey, if you did have an issue, I'm sorry. Let me resend it to you. But, like, I hope now there's not going to be a Rich, like, third video. Like, here's what they sent me. And, like, Rich
is fucking shameless, so I would not be shocked.
Yeah, it's like they tried to make it right. They sent me something else out, and guess what? It had a chip in it. It's like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. there's a lot of ways you could look at it. Like, you're being scammed. Scammed is the wrong word. I think, if anything, it's like you're just overpaying for something.
Yeah,
that's it.
Basically.
Yeah.
You're overpaying for convenience, like you do a lot of times, but to the nth degree when it comes to this.
Exactly. If you're a Nintendo fan, you've been overpaying for shit for far too long. You're going to keep doing it. Tell me I'm wrong.
Hey, Bri, another favor and point of the Wii U. Where would the Switch be without the Wii U library and all the ports? Because no one bought them the first time.
Yeah, exactly. So it's only good on the Switch.
No.
Because if you use that same argument...
It was good beforehand. It was brought to the Switch and kept the Switch alive.
Well, but that's my point. So when you use the argument, all the games on the GameCube were on the Wii U, you can't do that. Because then it's like, well, the Wii U was actually just useless. It's all the games are on the Switch.
You know what?
Exactly.
Yoshi's Woolly World, worth the price alone. That must-buy game. Worth it alone.
That's such a stupid game. God damn it, Jim. Don't you dare.
Gorgeous, delightful.
Don't
perfect
you
controlling,
dare.
Amazing music.
Keep
you
it
don't
up.
have it. You're
Keep it up. That GameCube I see is getting a lot of use behind just sitting on top of a goddamn trading card game.
Oh, this one's broken. I have my real one over in the setup over here.
Exactly. How many Wii U's you got?
I got one.
You got 2 GameCubes. 2-1. It wins.
Yeah, because you don't see Wii U's because people hold on to their Wii U's, Brian. That's why.
It wins.
Nope.
Jem, think about it.
I did. And I came to the conclusion.
Think about it. Is 2 better than 1? You tell me.
I mean, in some cases. Brian, would you rather have 2 dicks slapping you in the face or just 1? In that case, 1's better.
I mean, as our friend Matt said, 2 would be a challenge then.
Yeah, goddamn, he would. Matt also said that getting your dick sucked is gay because you're the one with the penis in his mouth. And if you're sucking the dick, then you have the power, so it's not gay. So we know what that kind of mindset is.
We do. And you share that mindset, which is why
I
you
do
always
not, sir.
which is why you were always partnered with him, Jim.
Hell, goddamn no.
Great.
That's because you're a son of a bitch.
Great minds think likes. No, but let us know what you guys think. And more importantly, if you ever did buy something from DKOldies, let us know what was the quality like. We already know you most likely, unfortunately, overpaid. But let us know if you have any personal experience. I didn't realize they were out of PA. That would be an interesting thing one day when we do our little brewery tours. We stop there in person. So I'd like to see that shop in person.
I actually talked to that guy one time. And I was like, hey, can I go there and check it out? He's like, they don't really let people in. It's just a warehouse. I was like,
oh.
Like, I thought it was going to be like a store, but it's just a warehouse.
Never mind then. So, yeah, let us know what you guys think. So, Chambers, now that, what'd you go through? 2 of those? Or 3?
And the middle end of my 4th.
Oh, shit. So, is that like the end of your pack now?
I think I have like 2 or 3 left, but no, it's tasty. It's a nice, tasty, enjoyable ale. So I definitely recommend it. Would
you repeat purchase for you?
You know what? I would probably wait to the summer. It's definitely more of a summer ale. It's weird that it's like, available now, but it's still tasty. But no, this would be great during the summer.
Nice. All right, well, with that, everyone, we want to say thank you so much for listening, for watching. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit subscribe, hit the notification bell if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, iTunes, or anywhere else, please make sure give us a 5-star rating, subscribe to us, and if you leave us a comment, we will read it on each and every one of these Power Hour podcasts. With that, we want to say have a good night, and cheers.
Cheers.
Damn it. Fuck.